Hello, Pinellas County Schools teachers. I'm Kevin Hendrick, Associate Superintendent for Teaching and Learning. I want to thank you for your great work in the last 2 weeks to roll out digital learning for Pinellas County Schools and our nearly 100,000 students. Your efforts to learn and implement this brand new way of work in such a short time are remarkable. You know, in the last 2 weeks, we've given out 20,000 devices to students, and on average, 90,000 students in Pinellas County Schools are logging in and participating in online learning each day. It's a remarkable feat, and you are to be commended for this great work. As we transition into this second week and we all become more familiar with the resources available, the intricacies of Microsoft Teams, and the needs of our students and families, I want to take a few minutes to share new resources available to support our way of work and a few guidelines and expectations for quantity of work and quality of instruction. First, I'd like to share some new opportunities to learn how to make the online experience more rewarding for your students and for you. We will continue with open office hours each week from 8:30 to 10 on our Tech Toolbox. Over 1,000 of you logged in the last 2 weeks to pose questions in the live office hours or at our email address, msteams@pcsb.org. This week, however, we'll be adding a half-hour webinar on a few key resources each day. You'll be able to see a live demonstration and ask questions. The first resource is Flipgrid, an easy-to-use platform that allows students to demonstrate learning through video. Many of you have said, I want to see my students and they want to see me. Well, this platform is an easy one to use to see your students. You can learn more about Flipgrid each day this week from 10:30 to 11 in a live demonstration, and you'll be able to ask questions. The second is Safari Montage. Safari Montage is our learning object repository where you can access thousands of instructional resources, create lesson plans in playlists, and upload items, including YouTube videos to share with your students. If you would like to get rid of the ads on YouTube or share only a clip of the video, then Safari Montage is for you. You can find out how to use it from 11:30 to noon each day this week. The third item is Forms in the Office 365. You can take attendance, of course, with Forms, but you can also create quizzes and other assignments. Learn all the ways that Forms can support your online classroom from 1 to 1:30 every day this week. Finally, there's multiple ways you can pre-record a lesson to share with your students. Learn how to do video creations and be creative with it each day this week from 2 to 2:30. You'll find the links to all of these each day in the Tech Toolbox on our digital learning page, where you visited, I'm sure, in the last 2 weeks. Next, I'd like to share a little bit about some digital learning success guides that we've created at each level. We have one for elementary, for middle, and for high school. Overall, in each guide, we've given you a few tips to be successful, and I'd like to share some of those with you as we have some lessons learned in this first week, including feedback from teachers and families. The elementary best practices for teaching and learning in the digital world includes a host of suggestions in each content area and some overall suggestions that you'll find on page 2 on the bottom of the page. Let's start with that on the bottom of page 2 and just talk from a high-level perspective. What have we learned in this last week? So some key ideas to keep in mind. We talked about 2 weeks ago that less is more and to go slow, and this certainly has proved true in the last week. We've heard from a lot of families about the difficulties of getting online, of sharing computers in a household, and how for our youngest students in particular, it's difficult to navigate some platforms that perhaps they have trouble reading or trouble remembering. And so we continue to encourage you to go slow. Less is more. Try one simple assignment each day, not 5 or 6 for each student. Have patience and understanding for families who are navigating this while still working, whether they're essential workers working out of the home or working at home, or perhaps unemployed. Include student choice as you build these lessons, and remember, quality is more important than quantity. It is much more important for students and families to experience 1 or 2 good quality lessons each day than 5 or 6 or 7 quick ones that chase them all over different places on the internet. So back up to the top of this resource guide, you're going to see in each content area some suggestions that we'll share just briefly. In ELA, you'll see some ideas for instruction, and we've built out, if you've looked at the gateway for the curriculum resources, you'll see that we have 4 days of resources and 1 day for enrichment. These resources include either a recorded lesson or suggestions for a live lesson and easy-to-use resources that you can quickly put into Microsoft Teams. The same goes for math instruction. We have suggestions for reading for enjoyment, where we encourage you to have your students read offline or using Mayan or another online resource for 20 to 30 minutes each day. Similarly, for science and writing, you'll see suggested resources that are built out on the gateway. We've also placed on there the guidelines for computer-based instruction. These mirror what you would have in a regular classroom in your brick and mortar schools each day. Students complete 30 to 45 minutes of computer-based instruction each week on iStation or iReady, and for mathematics, 5 lessons for Dreambox that can take anywhere between 30 and 45 minutes, sometimes up to 60 each week. For our specials classroom in the visual arts and music, PE, we have 1 lesson a week, typically, in the visual arts and music, and up to 3 in physical education instruction each week. And we've seen some really creative ways in which teachers are doing this. We want to continue that creativity while following those keys of keeping things simple for students and families. And throughout this difficult time, we know that social emotional learning is just as important. Making those connections with your students, like we talked about 2 weeks ago, continue to be a paramount experience for all of us on the educator side and on the student and family side. Continue to access those resources and know that the school team is still there to support students through the child study team, social workers, and school counselors. Moving over to the middle school resources, you're going to see similar ideas of keys for success for digital learning in middle school. We've built the same platform for middle school, a little bit different look, but you're going to see those 4 key resources for middle school up here on the left-hand side. Very similar to elementary, less is more, quality over quantity, limit the variety of sites and apps that students have to visit, and be flexible. You'll see the key resources there, but if we go down to page 3, I want to just show you for our middle school team some guidelines that we hope you can follow this week, April 6th through the 10th. It talks about taking that daily attendance, as we've said, and then posting at least 1 recorded lesson, just like we encouraged you to experiment with last week. You don't need to do one every single day. You certainly don't need to do a live one every single day, but having students see your face at least once a week is important. We also encourage you to facilitate at least 1 live chat with students this week, giving them a way to interact with you, whether it's in the general chat room or another format this week. So use those resources for middle school, and we hope to see you continue to experiment with those live and recorded lessons. Moving over to high school, you're going to see those similar keys for our high school teachers and students. And our high school students have had the best attendance of all the levels, as they're pretty familiar with accessing these resources on their own and independently. But you'll see those same 4 key resources, and we've built those out in the lesson plans. And so I'd like to share with you, for example, a social studies lesson plan where you're going to see that less is more approach, giving quality over quantity, and building out the student experience so that they have some flexibility in what they can see and do. So here's a lesson in U.S. history on the main causes of World War I. And you'll see, actually it's world history, you'll see where we start with why, a short video, less than 20 minutes. I believe this one is 10. And you'll continue through the lesson seeing how those resources are accessed from the left side to the right side, building out that quality over quantity, and also the student experience, giving choice and variety in what students are able to do. So as you plan out this week, we want you to continue to not stress yourself out and also not stress your students and families out. Take that approach of less is more as you go through the week. And we hope that you're able to look at these resources that are available on the Gateway and make sure that your week is successful for both you and your students and families. Remember that this week is just a 4-day week, so take attendance each day and enjoy Friday as a non-student day for our teachers, our 10-month teachers, and all of our students and families. Let's continue to make this a great experience for our students and for you as we continue in this instructional continuity period.